Hey, good morning. How are you today? So today, it's been pulling at me for the last couple of days. I wanted to talk about what we believe to be truth. There's a lot of things in the world that are being shaken up right now. And I wanted to kind of share some tools that I use to try and distill what is truth when we're going to find out that a lot of what's we think is real, what is truth, what we've been told, the story we've been told, etc., is not quite the truth. And controlling us is by controlling the truth, twisting the truth, shifting things to make us aligned with an agenda that's not serving us, or not serving the world, not serving freedom. So let's start really simple. So let's say this. Let's say you were really young and you didn't have anybody that was teaching you, and I walked up to you and I pointed at the grass and I said, that is the color blue. And you're looking at it and you have no frame of reference, so you then trust me, especially when we're small. Up until about the age of 7, we believe everything we're told. Can you imagine how tricky that gets with, I can remember like uncles and stuff that would cajole me and play games with me and try and make me believe something was different than it was, just to kind of test and play. Well, now let's say you're that person that just got told that was the color blue. And you trust me implicitly, so you now believe that is your truth. When actually the rest of the world sees that color as green. So now you're walking in the world believing that's blue. Well, what do you call blue? Well, maybe it's green. So all of a sudden, your perception of reality, of truth, of the world is different than other people's. And you're going to run across this a lot, especially people that are labeled as conspiracy theorists, etc. We're going to think of them as weird, or there's something wrong with them because we believe that a certain story or narrative is truth, but they've done research and they found that there's a different truth underneath. So who's wrong? Well, I don't think it's a thing about wrong or right. It's about collective reality versus personal reality. So the collective reality says that grass is green, but in your personal reality, you now believe that grass is blue. And you're going to run into things. You're going to be like talking to people and it's like, oh, look at how beautiful that grass is there. It's blue. And then you're like, oh, well, look at the ocean. Look at how green it is, or whatever. This comes simply through an insertion of truth that does not align with the collective truth. Now, you can get really complicated here and say who's correct or who's right. And then it just becomes a number of people versus yourself. Oh, 8 billion people on the planet believe that color is green, and you're saying it's blue. So now let's talk about tons of different things. Let's talk about, and it's starting to become clearer in the world narrative that governments are not watching out for us. So our past truths of, okay, the government's like our father or whatever, they're trying to defend us and protect us. Well, now we're starting to find out that people are greedy and they're wanting money and they have these agendas and other things. So now all of a sudden is the government protecting us? So now all of a sudden you look underneath and you say, okay, the government isn't protecting us. The truth that I believed is wrong. So now I have to adjust. The government may be somebody that's got a lot of money, and the people that represent our government have agendas and lobbyists and all these kind of things. So the truth that was, okay, I can trust everything that's going on from there, is now changed. So now we have to reset all of our thinking processes and start to question each time. And this is the biggest tool first, is questioning things. And we have to shift from making it a thinking process to moving it into our body and into our heart and saying, okay, does this feel right in my body? Does this feel true? Because we're going to be asked and tested to challenge a lot of our truths of what we feel is safe, what we feel is good, what we feel is normal. And things are going to show up. You're going to hear news stories. You're going to see videos. You're going to see all this kind of stuff showing that the collective narrative, or the one that's been programmed, is not true. It's actually misleading us so that we obey, we comply, we listen, we trust. So when you come up upon something that's kind of testing your reality and saying, okay, this doesn't feel right, start to feel in your body. And your body's this magnificent tool that's going to start to tell you that something's wrong. Simple things like, does this resonate in my heart? Does my heart feel contracted? The other one is down in our solar plexus and sacral chakra, where your guts just don't feel right. They contract. They're just like, oh, there's something wrong here. And you can now start to use this body, call it like a dowsing, like dowsing for water or whatever. Your body is going to start to tell you what's truth. And then you can start to use that tool to navigate through things that are changing, are falling apart around us. So, and the literal word of truth is something that I'm going to ask you to start to become malleable around, because the word truth is like a hard and fast. It's like, okay, that's true that, like I said before, that the collective is going to say that grass is green. Well, you've been programmed to say the grass is blue. See how simple a truth can be different for two different people. So if we start to say truth is flexible instead of a black and white, it's going to help us get through what's to come. Because most of the time when there's a mistruth, the truth is close to what is being declared, or the mistruth that's going on. If it was too far distant, it would show up to different people as disparate, and then we'd start to not trust people that were giving that truth. So, for example, our media or social media or whatever, it has a generalized twist to things. It will shift what people can see, what they understand, what they the message that they get, so that there's a hole in it for a truth that's maybe now controlling you. So truth, if it's held onto too strongly, if it's held onto it like as a rock, it's going to be very hard to make the changes that are coming, because truth is going to get really squishy. What we have been taught and what we've been told and these kind of things have alternate truths. And there's like a human truth, and then there's a universal truth, like truth of what love is in our heart. That's a universal truth. It's like this all-encompassing, loving, godlike energy, where the human truth about love is, oh, I love you, and you have to be with me, and we have to be partners and married, and all this kind of stuff of love, or you have to be a loving parent or a protector of me. Well, you're going to find out, and many of you have, that those supposed truths of society also had wounded parents, wounded whatever. So that truth got deformed in that expression of love because of that, your parents or whatever's reality, how they were grown up, or other things, and those things got twisted on them. So now we're going to walk in a world where things are going to be shown to be lies. Things are going to be shown to be deliberate misdiversions. We're going to find out a lot of political people and powerful people are not nearly as nice as they've been made out to be. They've done really dark and bad things. We're going to find out the law is controlling us. It's not really in the light. We're going to find out that people are making a lot of money off of lying to people and twisting facts and twisting details. We're going to find out things like fluoride in our water, which is supposed to help our teeth and all these kind of things. The fluoride that's actually used is an industrial waste if you go and start to research it. And the fluoride also has something very nasty and devious in it, in that it calcifies our pineal gland. It's a little gland that's right in the center of our brain, and it's represented as an acorn in spiritual philosophy. But if that's calcified, it numbs our connection to our God self. It numbs our connection up into the etheric, and it makes us cut off. An interesting one, if you are Catholic, which I grew up Catholic, the Pope's staff has a little acorn on the top. The Pope knows, and that acorn is a symbol of connection to God. So we have a world where stuff is put in our water to supposedly help us, but that's numbing us down. And you can go and do all the research. I'm not expecting you to believe me, but that's the second thing about truth. Go start researching things. What does Dina say? To me, truth is not a program. The experience of truth is, like you say, is filtered through others' lenses. We hold our unique truth within us. Absolutely. So if we start looking, like I said earlier, there's a collective truth that's used so that everybody kind of connects together. If everybody, like I said at the beginning, chooses that colors are different, you've been taught that green is blue, and I've been taught that green is green, and this kind of stuff, we can't coexist together if there's not a fundamental awareness. And I hate to use the word understanding, but often truth is an understanding of being below a perceived thing as being true. Sometimes when we don't even know that it's true, or we have no premise to be able to test its truth. So right now, we are going to be tested in our truth. What's universal truth? It's going to resonate in our heart, and it's going to feel good, and our guts are going to be nice and loose. But if it's said it's a truth and it's not feeling good, and our body tightens and we constrict, we're going to start to have to question that. Some of the tools, like I said, is how does it feel in your body? Second is start asking a lot of questions. Start asking, when did I learn this? Who did I learn it from? What did they say? How did they know it was truth? Because a lot of these things are just flown into us and programmed into us as children before we can even discern. So now we're going to have to learn to have these discernment tools. That's another tool, is discerning what feels right in your body, what was truth, where did it come from? And then you start to research it. You go on the internet, you go look around and start to see, oh, there's different stories out there. Because it's crazy, once you start to look underneath truth, you're going to find all these stories that completely and totally are opposite to the truth that you've been taught. And you're going to question yourself. You're going to start to feel uncomfortable. You're going to say, okay, well, if that's untrue, then what else is untrue? And then this avalanche of the foundation of who we are, of what we trust, starts to fall apart. Where do you go for that? Often we are taught to make these things our safety. Well, they're not. And we're going to have to go inside, and we're going to have to trust ourselves. We're going to have to start to build that safety and that foundation for ourselves. You're going to find people around you that have awareness of the new truth. They've spent time discerning the old information, and some people are going to ask them for help. They're going to, like people like myself, it's like, okay, well, why is this happening? Why is this falling apart? And this kind of stuff. And I'm going to teach that and explain that we relied far too much on everything around us, on people around us, on truth, of trusting people to represent us, of trusting people to look out for our self-interests, when really that was just coercion that was used towards you. Like, okay, yeah, you can trust this. Oh, the world's too hard and it's too complicated and you need a lawyer and you need somebody to represent you, when in the end, they're not even representing you. They are just making money off of you by fitting into this crazy model that the world's in. So discernment's going to be really, really important in the coming days. Starting to question everything. Okay, does this feel good? Are you okay with your reality changing? Are you okay with what the result is once you learn this new truth? You're going to have this expansion of self, because the existing truth is controlling and shrinking us. So now all of a sudden it's going to expand us, and it's going to be this rush. It's going to feel like fear, because a lot of times expansion feels like fear in our body. But expansion is the growth. It's the letting in of more light. It's of freedom and less density. So I also want you to, when you're starting to feel what's showing up or whatever, start to recognize that it's not fear. It's not you being crushed. It's not your whole reality being taken down. It's an expansion. It's you releasing the control, releasing the stories that are keeping you caged. A lot of these truths keep us caged. It's like, oh, you must stop at a stop sign for 3 seconds. Well, if there's no cars in the area, why do you need to stop at a stop sign for 3 seconds? Well, now somebody can give you a ticket because you didn't stop for 3 seconds. These are things that are laws, that are truth, that in a lot of ways don't serve us. How many times have you sat at a traffic light and it's 1 o'clock in the morning and there's nobody around and you had to wait 5 minutes for the light to change because the sensor's not working or whatever? Is that thing serving us? Can we not, as adults, discern, look both ways, and take the responsibility for not having an accident at 1 o'clock in the morning? These are like simple versions of how we've been controlled. We've been lulled into this thing's protecting us, and this piece of machinery is making us safe and crossing the street and making a turn or whatever. But do those things really serve you? How many times does it frustrate you? What are the things in the world that control you and constrict you from doing what you want? Some people like to walk around naked or whatever. It's okay for a man to walk around with no shirt on, but it's not okay for a woman to walk around without a shirt on. Okay, well, how are we shaming women in this way? Some women prefer to be free and that kind of stuff. Look at the laws. Look at how they're going with prevailing beliefs to control people and to keep them from being in their freeness. You're going to find that there's going to be, I bet you we're going to find out that more than 60% of what we believe to be true is going to have some flaw in it. There's a massive shakeup coming. Things are going to change a lot. And if you're just joining in the video, go back. I looked at a whole bunch of different tools to help us discern, help us feel, to douse in our body, to say, okay, does this feel good in my heart? Does this feel good in my guts? Start talking to people. Question everything. Say, hey, why do you believe this to be truth? And it's falling apart in front of me. What do you feel? And it's like, yeah, it's falling apart in front of me too, and it feels really bad in my guts. So there's something wrong here. So what's the real truth? Start talking to people. Start talking to people that have been labeled as conspiracy theorists in the past or whatever. They have done their research. Most people that are questioning everything spend hours going down and finding reports and evidence that shows this stuff. It's not showing on on the news because what most people don't know is like 98% of all news sources are controlled by one organization in the world. They slowly bought them up quietly in the background, so nobody even knows, and the people with hyper money are controlling what goes out, what the agenda is, etc. There's a really cool video that was going around Facebook a while back where they start with one radio or TV station. They're saying something about protecting people and keeping them safe and all this kind of stuff. And then they scroll out until there's like 250 of them. Every single one, word for word, was the exact same message. Does that tell you of a media source that has the ability and the freedom to do what they want and say? No, somebody put a dictate out there and said, you're going to say this, and this is the message we want you to say. And now we're stuck to that. So just know the things that we're trusting and putting our faith in and believing, that was programmed, that was trained, and some of those things are going to fall down. We're going to see them fall on their face. Presidents, government officials. Look at Justin Trudeau, for example. What the fuck is wrong with him as a man? He would not even listen and talk to our own people, and then jailed them. They're still in jail, and they're forcing people to not speak about truth or question things because he's a dictator. He's not a prime minister that's in freedom and other things. And there's a whole world around us that's starting to see that. And we're starting to see a lot of the leaders around the world crashing down. And look at UK, Boris Johnson, the whole government collapsing. This is happening in governments all throughout Europe and South America. If you watch, things are falling apart because it was built on falsity. It was built on crime. It was built on people stealing money and taking money. And it's getting exposed. So trust it's going to expose. Shine your light on everything that's going on. If it doesn't feel good in your heart, start asking questions. Get a bunch of people together and start asking more questions. And then you're going to find out, holy shit, this goes way deeper than I thought. And somebody's going to bring more information and more information until one day, where is it, in Myanmar or something like that? Or no, Armenia, I saw a video of where the people are storming the gates of the government compound and forcing the soldiers and stuff to put their arms down, and then they're taking into custody these people that were destroying them and their country. We're milking millions, if not billions, from them. This is the truth that's coming in. We're starting to distill it. That's why the convoy freedom movement. Look at the freedom movement, or the convoy freedom movement in the U.S. It went all over the U.S. and it finally got to Washington, D.C., and nobody ever stated it, but they got coerced into doing it, into stopping. They did not go and stand in front of the monuments and stuff in Washington. They got coerced at the last minute. They got strong-armed with fear, and they stopped. And look at the stuff in Amsterdam with the farmers. And these farmers are pissed. They're taking their livelihood away in supposedly protecting the planet and the country and all this kind of stuff. With no farmers, we're all going to perish because there's going to be no food coming in. So question everything right now. Question your truth, and I'm going to guarantee to you a lot of what you believe to be true is going to fall apart. And it'll be a good thing. It's going to free you, and it's going to be awesome and amazing. And the more you're going to hold on to the rock of what your truth is, of the pillar of society and what kept you safe and stuff like that, that safety is within you. You don't need any outside source, any outside person, any outside government, any whatever. If anything, those sources have been destroying people and tearing them down and taking from them, etc. So now, with new truth and a willingness to accept new truth, we're going to get freedom. And it's going to feel a bit squishy for a while. Talk to people. Spend time with them. Share. Go be close by them. Go in a group and a community and and sit and calm everybody's nervous system by sharing your truth, what you found. Go out, research things. Go out, talk to other people, network, become the information source. We can't just sit and watch TV and expect that we've got all the truth, or that even the internet or on social media, it's all twisted. How many times have you seen something and then these fact checkers come and tell you that it's all wrong and you know it's to be truth? That's misinformation. That's the truth being fucked with. So go out, ask a lot of questions, discern in your body. Does it feel good in your heart? Are your guts tight? Probably not truth if it's feeling tight in either of them. Go and ask questions. Go ask questions. Go research on the internet. Go see if there's an alternate truth. Go to somebody that was a conspiracy theorist or was questioning everything a while ago, and you're going to find out they're going to have the evidence for you. Or you can maybe trust them because they have been carrying this through when they've been beaten and told that there's something wrong with them for a very long time. And discernment, that's like, oh, does this feel good? Does this feel right in my body? Start to talk to people, start to question. These are all tools that are going to save you. And don't hold on to anything too much, because if you do, it's going to tear your arms off. It's going to be really uncomfortable. If you believe that the government is protecting you and it's your savior and all this kind of stuff, the universe will beat you down until you start to see the truth. Not because it wants to break you down or hurt you. It wants you to be free. So trust me, there's going to be so much stuff that's showing up, and you got the tools to get through it. Be calm. If you get excited and you get triggered, breathe. Drink lots of water with a little bit of sea salt in the bottom. The sea salt helps move our energy in our body. If you're freaked out too much, go take a bath in Epsom salts or have a shower. Go out in nature, get your toes in the grass and just start to ground. It's going to be amazing. But if we don't have these tools and we freak out, it's going to be hell on earth. People are going to be rioting in the streets maybe if they can't believe these things or they're angry. So be part of the solution. Be the grounding force. Breathe. Hey, buddy, calm down. We're going to get through this. Let's watch and see the truth. And that information is going to be provided to us. So be prepared. Be ready. Have a little extra food and water around and that kind of stuff for the next little while. Because when truth falls apart and the structures that are controlling us have to step down and people are scared, things might get a little squishy. But you got the tools. You're talking to the right people. You're watching videos like this. You're starting to see it. Send it out to people that are freaking out. This video will be important once that time comes because they don't know what's going on. But you now have the tools. You now have a knowledge of underneath, and you're going to get it all handed to you on a silver platter of what the new truth is, and you're just going to have to accept it. You're going to have to release some old beliefs, and you're going to have to not hang on for dear life to what was. We have to be just in the moment, see what shows up, and it's all going to be for the highest good of everyone. So I hope these tools help. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the beautiful comments, Dina and Kathy, and I look forward to talking to you soon. I love you all. Spread this tool out, spread this video out, because people are going to need it. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. I love you.